So I'm ready to do book one discussion for my fun fiction book club. So the way I do this is I keep in mind that you should have read the book when you see this discussion because that's what this video is all about. I already finished reading the first book, Into the Land of the Unicorns, and I talk a little bit about the book, not like a review. I'm not gonna do a review about it, but I'm just gonna tell you my general experience with it, what I think about it, the way it made me feel, and then after that I'm gonna talk about a few things. In this case there are 18 things that I marked in the book while I was reading it, and these are 18 ideas that I found either interesting or entertaining or valuable or worth discussing, because due to that discussion we can learn something. So basically what I'm gonna do is share with you these ideas that I had while I read this, or thanks to what I read here, because that's what I had the ideas because of what I read here, and hopefully you will learn something after you have this discussion with me. So this is gonna be a pretty interesting discussion, very original because it's based on the ideas that I got as I read this. So it's not gonna be like any other discussion anywhere. It's basically what my mind generated as I read this. So okay, I'm not gonna spoil the plot twist in the book because I think that it is one of the best things in the whole book. It's not worth spoiling. So, it's like telling you the ending of a great movie or the ending of a great game before you see it, before you play it. It ruins it. So I'm not gonna do that, even though this video assumes that you already read it. So the plot twist in this book is the hunter. You don't know who the hunter is until late in the book, and when you find out, if you didn't know, it's a great plot twist. It's a great plot twist. In my case, since before I chose this book as the first book for the fun fiction book club, I read a ton of reviews everywhere. I really did a lot of research on the book to make sure that I didn't pick something that would be bad. I want to make sure that I pick books, stories, experiences that end up being among the best ones of all time in fiction. So they could be adventure, they could be science fiction, they could be, I'm going to pick entertaining stuff. So I'm going to stay away from murder thrillers and horror and all that. I know those can be very entertaining for some people. I am not one of those people. I think I'm gonna focus on the entertaining books and the entertaining experiences that I feel have more, are more universal. They are the ones that more people are going to like around the world, basically. So I will, more than likely stick to adventure and science fiction and interesting stuff that I feel that, not just because I read the reviews and because they're getting 5 stars out of 5 or 4.8 stars out of 5 or a lot of praise everywhere, not just because of that, but also because my gut feeling tells me that the story is going to be good. So I had that gut feeling for the Unicorn Chronicles, which is 4 books. I only read, for this kind of book, 1 book per month. So that's what the book club that I made is about. So the first book for the Unicorn Chronicles, which has 4, is the one for this month, the one for June, the one for July, which I will do the discussion for that. I will post it by July the 25th. Is the second book in this saga, which is Song of the Wanderer. So yeah, every 25th of every month I will do another one. So the first 4 months is gonna be the Unicorn Chronicles, the 4 books. So the first one is Into the Land of the Unicorns for this month, for June the 25th. And it was a short book. It was 160 pages, so they didn't have much filler, which is great. They didn't have tons and tons of descriptions everywhere, which is also great. I don't like books that are constantly describing stuff instead of telling you what really matters, instead of advancing the character and the story and the entertaining ideas and entertaining stuff, the epic stuff. So I like the fact that this book was like that. Nonetheless, I didn't feel that it started to get good until page maybe page 40, page 45 perhaps, when they begin telling you the story of the, when they begin revealing more about the land of Luster and the unicorns and their stories. When they get there, it starts to get better and better. I think the point of immersion, what I call the point of immersion, is the moment when the reader starts to feel immersed in the story, starts to feel like they already imagine these characters and this story, and they can already see it as if they were watching a movie, as if they were seeing a TV series. They can already see it in their imagination, in their mind, just from reading the book. So that point is, for this book, I felt like it didn't start until page 50. So I didn't feel like I was being immersed until page 50. And page 50 is when she begins the journey with the unicorn and with the, I don't know if I'm gonna say it right, but you know who I'm talking about. And with this Quichen, the leader, a little monkey, basically. And with the Dimbledom. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but you know what I'm talking about. Dimbledom. So when she begins the journey with these creatures, I think the book gets much better. One of my favorite parts of the whole book is the part when they're describing their journey before they meet the Delvers. I really like that part. And let's see, favorite characters. My favorite character in this book, by far, there's no contest, is the unicorn. And I think that's a good thing, because this is a book about unicorns. It's the central part of the story. So the unicorn is the character that I found the most interesting. And there were, I don't remember them exactly, but there were parts of the dialogue from the unicorn that were funny, that were clever, and I really liked the unicorn as a character. My favorite character in this story by far is the unicorn. Second favorite character, I think it's the dragon. I think. But it's not close to the unicorn. Third favorite character, I would put it in a tie between the hunter. They don't reveal the hunter until the end, so you don't get any dialogue from him until the end, and the protagonist, or Kara. So they are, for me, in a tie for the third favorite character in this story. But the unicorn is my number one by far. I think, by the way, I can tell you right now, I picked the right book, the right story to begin. And it might not be the best, but it was good and it was entertaining, which is what I'm looking for this book club and for my own readings for entertainment. That's what I want. And yes, I want to make sure that I read the best books in fiction. And okay, let's see what else I can tell you before I jump into the 18 interesting ideas that I got from this story that I want to discuss with you. So, basically, in terms of the characters, I think the grandmother is going to be an interesting character in the second book. I haven't read the second book, so I don't know. But I get the sense that they are going to put her in the second book. And in general, I liked it. I wouldn't call it, it's not going to be my favorite. It's not gonna be in my top favorites, but it is a good book. It is entertaining. You need to realize that I am in my 20s, and the protagonist of this book is like a girl who is probably like 13 or 12. So I think that, you know, if you're in that age range, if a girl that is 14 reads this book, it could become one of her favorites. I wouldn't be surprised with that. Wouldn't be surprised with that. I liked it, and I am not the reader that the author had in mind, but the author wrote a good story that is entertaining, and that is what this is all about. Writing a good story that is entertaining and that is an engaging experience. An engaging experience to have, like a movie, even like a video game. But if the story is very well written and very good, it can be much better than a movie or than any video game, because it gets, you know, it has the power of creating that experience in your mind as if you were the one having it. So it really makes a difference. Okay, so let's see. The beginning didn't impress me very much. The beginning of the book, when they have this little chase, and the girl is you know, practically pissing her pants. They are scared because this hunter guy is chasing them, and her grandmother. I wasn't hooked by that, but you know, I'm seeing it from a different perspective. So the fear didn't reach me. In fact, what it made me think is that it is important to teach little girls and boys how to defend themselves, so that if they see themselves in this kind of situation in real life, their reaction is not going to be what happened here, which is fear. Their reaction is going to be, you know, they will know how to defend themselves against the hunter, and they won't be helpless. They will. Doesn't mean they're going to be super brave and they're going to go against the guy, you know, especially if the guy has a gun or something like that. That wouldn't be wise. But, you know, at least they won't feel fearful and helpless. And I know that can be done, because even if girls and women are not as strong as guys, they can learn the same tactics of self-defense and martial arts and all that as we can, because we have the same skeleton, we have the same body, we can do the same movements, the same spinning kicks, the same punches, the same everything. We can do the same if we have learned how to do it. So I think it is important to teach young girls and boys how to defend themselves, how to be confident in themselves, so that if they face these kind of things, they are not going to be overwhelmed by fear. So as you see, what I thought after reading that introduction, the first 2 chapters, is very different from what a 12-year-old girl is going to think if she reads this. But that's to be expected, you know, because it depends on who you are, basically. So yeah, I didn't like the beginning that much, but I can see why it will hook someone who's young, and why they may even think that it was a great action-packed beginning. I didn't feel that way about it. But I am hard to please. I am very difficult when it comes to video games, to books, to movies. If I tell you that the movie, the video game, and the book were great, go and play it and buy it and watch it, and I mean, I can tell you for sure that you will be pleased with it, because it's going to be entertaining and engaging, because I am really difficult. I always find things to criticize. So if I think it is great, it's very likely that most people are going to be pleased with it. Most people are going to think that it's great. So I'm not going to spoil the story for you, even though you should have already read Into the Land of the Unicorns if you're watching this. but I'm gonna talk about a few things that I found worth discussing. So there are 18 of them. So number one, so grandmother's quote number one on page 20. Okay, the grandmother. So, and if there was one thing grandmother Morris had taught her, it was that you had to make your own luck if you were going to survive in the world. Okay, even if Bruce Coville was thinking about a 12-year-old girl as the protagonist when he wrote this, the one who wrote it is still Bruce Coville, a grown man who was, I don't know his age, but he was probably 30 something when he wrote it. So he will let some of his wisdom go into the book, which is not the wisdom of a 12-year-old, even if it is a book for young readers. It is the wisdom of someone who is older. So basically, what this is telling you is that you need to make your own luck. And this becomes more and more and more clear as you get older. There will be things that you want, and they are not gonna happen unless you do something to help to make them happen. So this book club is is an example of me doing something like that. I know I like this. I know this is a hobby that I like. I like reading the best fiction books and discussing great ideas that I get from them. And I would love to be among a group of people that also like that. So what did I do? I created a book club for that. And I am the administrator of the book club to make sure that only people that really, want that kind of thing get into the club, and they get to meet other people that like that kind of thing. So it's if you think about it, I'm doing something so that I can eventually, not now, just getting started, eventually unite a group of people that like this hobby that I have. I could have kept doing this on my own. I do this on my own anyways, and I have fun with it on my own anyways. But I think that it will be more beneficial, not just for me, but for other people that like doing this, if there's a group for that online, in the internet. Because obviously people that like doing this don't go to the streets or to their jobs or to their hobbies that are social and public with a letter on their head saying, hey, I like reading fiction books and I love discussing fiction books. Oh no one says that. So how do you unite a group of people that like that? You do it through something like this. So this is already an example of how I am doing something to change my luck with this stuff and the luck of other people that also like this stuff. So yes, you have to, especially when you're an adult, you have to work on changing your luck, or rather, not on changing, but on making things that will increase your luck. And sometimes luck is not the right word to call it. That will make things happen, basically. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, another quote from the grandmother, page 24. Okay, Grandmother Morris always said, if you were alive, you had a chance. And that's very true. If you're alive, if you're here, you can make something happen. It could be at a very small scale, something with another person, or it could be at a very large scale if you end up being like a governor, or like a famous person, or like a sports athlete that someone like in the major leagues, baseball, or like an actor that can make a difference, because actors can make a difference on the community. People follow them. If an actor talks about a good cause and does something good, it can influence people in a good way. So it doesn't have to be something at that level. It can be something at a smaller level. But if you're here, if you're alive, basically, which means that you're here, you can make a difference. can be small, can be great. It is possible for you to make something, to do something, somehow. The only way for it to not be possible for you is if you are not here, if you are not alive. Then there's nothing you can do. Doesn't matter how talented you are, doesn't matter how ingenious you are, how great your ideas are, you cannot do anything. Because you're not here. Only the ones that are here can do something. So, okay, obviously the grandmother I think is gonna be like the wise character. If they put her in the second book, I will like it for sure, because it's gonna be like the wise character. Number 3 and number 4, I already mentioned at the beginning. Like the immersion point of the book is after page 50. After page 50, the book starts to get really good. But it is a 160-page book, so it starts to get really. English is not my first language, so this is gonna happen. That's the way it is. It is going to start to get really good after the first 1/3. So after the first 50 pages. It didn't feel good to me. The book didn't feel good to me until after page 40. So, that's because I'm a little demanding, maybe. I didn't feel that it was good until after page 40. That's just me. There are people that are gonna love it from the beginning. I didn't start to like it for real until I got to page 40 something, 50. I started to like it then. Okay, so number 5 out of the 18 ideas I want to share with you from this book. So page 72. Oh, long way. You see, I didn't find anything interesting until I got past page 50. 72. Okay, there's a lot to talk about here. On decision making. Mind versus heart. Wisdom versus emotion. So let me read it to you first, what I marked. Should we risk the mission and the safety of all the unicorns in order to rescue one friend? Some of my relatives, this is the unicorn talking by the way, some of my relatives will say there's no question, we have a clear duty to keep the amulet away from the enemy. This is not just our journey. The safety of the unicorns and possibly of Lobster depends on defending the amulet against those who will abuse it. Okay, so then much later in the page, Kara is talking. So her heart was screaming that they could not leave their friend. In the end, her heart made the choice. So let's see what I wrote about this. So how to tell, how to make the right choice. Okay, obviously what this shows is that she was a real friend for the devil dog. She really cared about him. She really wanted to save him, not because he was her bodyguard or because she had to repay a favor. She wanted to do it because he was a real friend. She cared about him. But I'm not going to talk more about that until I get to number 9, because in number 9 I found something really good to talk about that topic. So what I'm going to talk about here is what I think about how to make this sort of decision. So how to tell, how to make the right choice when you face something like that and you have to make a choice. If others are involved, do what is right, or the right thing, or the moral thing to do for everyone. So if others are involved, don't just think about yourself, think about what is happening to other people in the group. If you are the only one involved in the decision, the only one affected by the decision as well, do what is best for you. If you are the only one that's going to be struck in a good way or in a bad way based on that decision, and it really only affects you, don't worry about what other people think. Do what is best for you. So in both cases, always decide, making sure that you don't break your personal moral code, and that you do something that will result in a benefit for the good side. So I'm very one-sided when it comes to this. Decision making. Doesn't matter if it's only you or if other people are going to be affected by it. Make sure that whatever choice you make is going to be beneficial for the good side, for the good people. If the choice is bad for bad people, great, they earn it. If the choice is bad for good people, you're not making a good choice. So basically you have to make sure that your choices, at least that's the way I think, it's the way I am, are good choices for the good side, for good people. And if they end up being bad for bad people, well, too bad. You shouldn't be bad. That's in that way I am extremely one-sided. I should never be a judge or someone, like a fiscal in a jury, someone that is, I should never be in a jury. Hopefully I'm not. Because if someone that is proven to be bad in some way is there, I'm gonna act against them. And if someone that is good is being affected, I'm going to act to benefit them. So I am, and it shouldn't be surprising. When I write my stories and eventually when you get to read them, you're gonna see that my protagonists and some of my characters are very much like that. And it's no wonder, because they are influenced by me. So, in my personal life, I'm also like that. So basically, benefit the good side, and the bad side, if you have to throw it in the pit, good for them. They're bad, so they deserve it. So, yes, do what is good. Do what is good. And how do I judge what is good? What is good is going to be good for good people, for the good side, for the greater good, basically. So that's how I recommend making decisions that involve or that affect other people. Focus on the good. Do something that gives a benefit for the good. So, okay, let me pause. Okay, so this is number 5. Let's go to number 6. Number 6 is on page 75. So number 6, oddly, the Delvers seemed not to worry about anyone coming after them. She decided that they were so used to being the hunters that it never occurred to them that things might go the other way. This is so important for life. So let me read to you what I wrote here. Never think that possibility B can happen. Never think that possibility B can happen to you because you're special or something like that. Anything can happen to you. If there are choices, if there are possible outcomes, any of the outcomes can happen to you. So you have to be ready, you have to be open-minded. First, you have to be open-minded, because if you're not open-minded, you're going to be 100% sure that the only outcome for you is the one you want. You're going to be 100% sure that this path that you're taking is the path that is going to end up being your path, basically. But in reality, there's always a chance, a probability that that path doesn't work out and that you end up falling in one of the other paths, or having to follow one of the other paths, or whatever. Something else happened, something that you didn't predict, something that you didn't know, something that you didn't expect. So hopefully you inform yourself so that you know what are the possibilities and what can be the outcomes, and you should be ready for all of them, just in case. So this is just advice. This is not something that the book is telling you. This is an idea that I got because I read that part of the book. So when I read that, the first thing that came to my mind was that. So I should point that out. And I thought about that for myself as well. But it is not something that applies to myself, it's something that applies to everyone. So number 7. Oh, by the way, let me give you an example for that one. Number 6, be open-minded, be ready for any outcome. In a tennis match, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna happen, but if you want to win the next point, you have to be trying to position yourself in the best way to receive the ball, obviously, to be able to, receive it well and pass it to the other side in a way that's gonna make it difficult for the opposing player. So if it doesn't work as you were expecting, does it mean that you're gonna lose the point? Not necessarily. Things may get difficult, but you may still win the point. But you have to be ready for anything. Even if you lose the point, you have to be ready for that as well, and to keep going with whatever comes next. And you have to be ready for that mentally, because if you're not, it's gonna bring you down that you lost that point, and you probably will lose the other one as well. So it's very mental stuff. Okay, so number 7, page 82. Page 82. The look of gratitude on his face made the risk and the effort all worthwhile. So they are talking about when Kara and the unicorn and the other guy saved the Temple Dome. I don't know if I say that right or not. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but hopefully I am. So the Temple Dome was saved by Kara, and he had this look of gratitude on his face, and that made in her mind all the effort worthwhile. So what I wrote for that here in my discussion notebook is giving happiness and happy moments to others, especially to others that are good people, gives us happiness too. And this is something that is very truthful. This is the way it is. I have experienced that myself in my own life so far. When you do something, or when I do something that ends up helping a person that I later realized that is and was and continues being a really nice person, a really good person, and I see that what I did for them really helped them and made them happier, that makes me happy as well. That makes me feel this feeling inside, which is, that kind of feeling that cannot be bought. The only way to experience that is doing something good for another good person and seeing that they are happy because of what you did, because of the experience that you gave them, because of the help that you gave them, because of what you did for them. You have given them happiness, and realizing that gives you happiness as well, which is it's something great. I hope, I don't know, because I cannot see the future, so I don't know. I hope that someday I can do something like that, especially with one of my books. If the people that read it end up happier because of it, and they told me, and they sent me a message and they told me, Pedro, we are happier thanks to what you did. Thank you for having written that. I'm gonna be very happy because of that. And I have experienced that, obviously not with books, because I'm still not published yet, but I have experienced that with other facets of my life, with other people, with other things, and it has made me feel great. So I know that I am the kind of person that if I manage to do something like that on a large scale, it's going to be incredibly satisfying for me. But this is the way it is for everyone, or at least for good people. So if you're a good person and you do something, doesn't matter if you do something on a large scale, something on a small scale with another good person, if you do something like that, you're going to feel happier. I'm sure about that because I have experienced it myself. So this is what they meant here when they mentioned that. So let's go to number 8. Okay, number 8, page 86. So Kara smiled much as she had come to love light food, the Timble Tom, and the squid jam. I hope I said that right. Squid jam. Sounds like a little lemur. I don't know if I said that right either, by the way. Like, there are these monkeys that are fictional characters that I think they call them lemurs. I don't know if it is a real animal or not, by the way. but I read about them somewhere, and I think that the squidgen is inspired by those fictional monkeys, basically. So, squidgen, they were all different from her. Thomas's presence made her realize that she had missed human company more than she would have thought possible. Okay, so let's see what I wrote for that here. Connection with someone who is like you is the kind of connection that has more weight for our happiness and for our joy as well than any other connection. And being like you isn't just about being human, it's also about similar ways of thinking. That's where okay, I'm gonna leave that for later on. But that's also where the concept of soulmates comes from. So basically, they are looking at this like someone who is like you in this book is someone who is another human, because they are in another world with other species that talk and with other characters. But in our, in our life, someone who is like you is someone who has a way of thinking that fits better with yours, a way of thinking that has more chemistry with the way you are, with the way you think, with who you are. So it's a person that has something in common with you, basically. Something that is at the core of their character, of who they are. So obviously, making friends with those people, interacting with those people that make us feel like we're interacting with other people that are like us, adds more to our happiness and makes those interactions feel much deeper, spiritually, emotionally, than other interactions. And those kind of interactions with people that are closer to who we are make us happier. If you think about it, that's something else that this book club can accomplish. Because if this book club manages to unite people that like reading this sort of book for entertainment, that like getting into this sort of somewhat philosophical, but I call it interesting. I find this interesting. Discussions about life and about ideas that make you feel as if you were in the middle of a classroom, in the middle of an auditorium, but this is a really fun and interesting auditorium. We're not talking about a boring class. I didn't like boring classes either, by the way. And I was pretty good in classes, but I didn't like that either. So if you're someone that likes that, and like reading, someone that is like that, and you're into this book club, you will be able to be in a club with other people that are alike, that are similar, that like something that you like. So, and those sort of interactions with those people that are more like you are going to make you happier. I know this based on my own experience, and it has been pretty hard for me to find other people that are like me. So I know how it feels. So, but yes, it is important. It is important to make a community of people, to find a community of people at the very least, if you don't make it yourself, that are like you. People that are going to make you feel that you have these connections that are deeper, that are more meaningful, because their ways of thinking, are more compatible, are closer to yours, and that's going to, it is inevitable that will generate better friendships, better everything. The other stuff that I wrote here, that's where the concept of soulmates come from. If you have a friend that has a lot in common with you, that has a lot in common with your way of thinking, and that person also likes you, and you like them, and you two become, a couple. This is a couple that is, it's a couple that has a deeper connection than the usual connections. So they can be called soulmates. That is what soulmate is. When these people are connected at a deeper level, because it's not just about attraction, but it is about the way they think, about who they are, about the core of their personality, and that kind of thing leads to connections, to experiences, to interactions that are much better, higher quality, deeper, and guess what? Those kind of interactions and experiences give us more happiness. So in the case of this book, they're talking about that as if it was, oh, another human being. It's like you. But if we look at this in the perspective of our life, it's other people that are similar to you, that have something essential in common with you. And in my opinion, something essential is our way of thinking. Because our way of thinking is who we are, who we really are. So when you have that in common with someone else, it's almost as if you found a, how can I call this? A brotherly or sisterly spirit, or a person that is like family, even if they are not family. And those people, they are the best friends. If you end up with one of them, like in a couple partnership, they are the best partners. So it's a really big deal. It's a really, really big deal. Okay, so number 9, page 89. Okay, Kara was startled. I don't know if I read that right. It's on page 89, the second paragraph. I didn't come get you, so we will be even, she said. Someone, Charlie. I did it because, oh, never mind. Like the Templeton thought that she went to save him because she was repaying him. But she knew that she went to save him because she cared about the guy, because she was a true friend. So this is what I mentioned in number 5. And I'm coming back to it in number 9. And now is when I'm going to tell you what I thought about this idea. So she's a real friend because what she did wasn't to repay him. It wasn't to bring him back as a bodyguard. Yeah, you were my bodyguard so far. Let me bring you back because you kept me safe. No. Or because if we get into a fight, you're the one that's going to get into a fight. No, that wasn't why she saved him. She saved him because she cared about him. And guess what? That's how you know if you are a real friend for someone, and if someone is a real friend for you. This is deep. This might be one of the best ideas I'm going to share with you about this. One of the best ideas that I got from reading this book, basically. They will do, real friends, they will do something for you, not because they get something in return or because it makes them feel better about themselves. They will do it only because they care about you and your well-being. If you think about it, the only true difference between a true friend, someone that is a real friend, a high quality friend, and a real love, is that one also fancies you in the other way, basically in a sexual way, basically. And the other one, the one that is a real friend, but that is not like that, doesn't fancy you that way. But both of them care about you in that level. Like the real friend, they're not in love with you or anything like that, but they want you to be happy. They care about you. And the someone that really loves you, a partner that may even be living with you, they are someone that cares about you at that same level, but they also have the other intimate connection, pretty much. But the best friends are the friends that are like that, pretty much. The friends, they're not in love with you or anything like that. They don't want to sleep with you or anything like that. But these friends really care about you. And there are friends like that. They are so hard to find nowadays, but there are friends like that. And those friends really make a difference. I think I have a couple of friends like that. Just 2. That's it. I wish I had more friends that were like that. And I think I am the kind of friend that is like that. But I am like that for people that are good friends. You know, if I realize that someone doesn't really care about me, I'm not like that with them. So but yeah, it's something wonderful. Having those kind of people in your life, those kind of friends that really care about you. And if they have a lot in common with you, even better. It's like family members. Family members that don't have any blood tie to you, but it doesn't matter. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so where I was, number 9. Okay, so let's go to number 10. Number 10. Okay, so this is good. Number 10, page 90. Page 90. So, page 90. Let me see what I wrote here because I don't see any mark. I don't see any mark here. Okay, here it is. Let's see what I wrote. Okay, I remember now. So this is about the thinker. So this is something that he says. So I like fixing things, he said as he worked. The world is always breaking here and there. This, here and there, this way and that. Fix a bit of it, and I feel like I'm helping. So this is the other man that they meet there, the thinker, talking. So basically he's glad that he can fix things. He feels useful because he can do that. So what did I write about that? People like to feel that they are needed and useful. No one likes to feel like they're not needed and not useful to anyone. So this is something that everyone has. Everyone likes to feel needed, useful, valuable to others, to the people that they care about, maybe to the community. But everyone has this inner feeling of wanting to be appreciated and valued by other people. And it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. So obviously, those people that don't have anything that makes them feel that way are gonna be less happy than the people that have many things that are making them feel that way. So it is something that we shouldn't ignore, something that we have to definitely enrich ourselves with. The kind of things, if we have any ability, if we have any talent that can allow us to make a positive difference for other people, I think that we should use it. I think that we should do it not just for ourselves, but because it is also beneficial for the other people that come in contact with this thing that we can do that is good for them and good for ourselves. So it's something that really can make a difference, and that we should do it because it is good for our happiness. And this is for anyone, because obviously everyone likes to feel this connection with other people where they feel valued, appreciated. It's natural. It's something that we have in our psychology, basically. So that's number 10 out of 18. So let's go to number 11. Okay, these 2 pages have 4 of them. So these 2 pages were full of good stuff. Okay, so let me read the other one. So number 11. There's lots of kinds of change. He continued. You can see most of them, the ones that bind folks together, but people build them link by link. Sometimes the links are weak, snap like this one did. That's another funny thing. Now that I think of it, sometimes when you mend a chain, the place where you fix it is strongest of all. So that is the thinker talking. But this is something, a little philosophical, and even realistic. If you think of these metaphorical chains as if they were emotional connections among people, or connections among people, basically. So this chain, let me see what I wrote for this, because I surely wrote something worthwhile here in the notebook. So everyone has some chain. The key is making sure that your chains are good for you. The key is making sure that your chains with other people are good for you and not bad. They are, okay, let me read it again. The key is making sure that your chains are good for you. They are things that you like, that are good, and people that you care about that are also good for you and for your happiness. Let's see what I want on the other page. So this is very truthful. It is inevitable that we will make connections with other people, emotional connections, or just connections. It is inevitable. So make sure, for your own happiness, for your own well-being, that these chains, these emotional chains, these connections that you make are good for you. They are with good people that will be good friends for you. They are connections that will bring, happiness and more, add to your well-being, basically, rather than connections that are going to take away from your happiness and make you feel worse. And it's make sure that these emotional change that you create, and we many times, especially when we're younger, we create this emotional change without even thinking about it. Like, they are created subconsciously, and by the time we realize it, we already have this emotional attachment with some person that may not be good for us. The older we get, the more aware we are about that, and I think we get wiser, hopefully, at least I know I'm getting wiser, about making these connections with people that are good for you. So this is very important. I think I'm gonna mention in one of the others. So this is let's go to number 12. Never was a chain that couldn't be broken. Sometimes it's even a good idea. So the thinker, they are portraying the older people, the older humans, as the wiser people, which is no surprise, because the protagonist is a 30 years old girl, I guess. So basically, let me see what I wrote there. I didn't write anything there, but it's pretty clear what it tells you. We develop these chains. Some of them are emotional chains, but we're not perfect, so we can make mistakes. So sometimes we may develop one of these chains, this connection with someone that it wasn't a good idea, someone that is not good for us. So this chain is a bad chain for us, for our happiness, for the way we feel, for our well-being, for whether we will be able to prosper or not. So this chain is against everything, against us, basically. But we were the ones that made it, the ones that created it. But it's already made. So what do? Do you stay with that chain forever, for your whole life? No. You have to break that chain. So why? So that you can be happier, so that you can have a better life, so that you can find other connections, other people, and make new chains that will be good for you. So this is very important. So it's not just about finding good friends and interactions and connections, but if you have connections and friends, which are not really friends, by the way, that are bad for you, it's time to break them. It's time to make sure that you don't keep those poisonous connections in your life dragging you down and making it worse. That's the way it is. So ideally, we will be all wise and perfect, and we will always pick, the best friends and the best people and the best everything, and we will never make any mistakes. But we're human, so we will. I think everyone will at some point experience one of these chains or connections with someone that wasn't right for them. So it's best if you find a new connection, basically. That's the way it is. So number 13. True friends stay, others leave. Okay, so number 13. This is the truth. This is be reality. And today it happens a lot. I don't know what is happening with my generation, but it is extremely common. Okay, so what did I mark here from that one? He came here long ago and stayed as friends sometimes do. This is the unicorn talking about the tinker. So friends, true friends, are people that are going to stay with you, unless you're a bad friend for them and you don't care about them. In that case, they wouldn't be wise if they stay with you. You will be one of those bad chains that they need to break. But if you're, a good friend and they stay, they're also good friends. They stay, but they stay having good interactions with you. It's a beneficial relationship in terms of friendship. It's not adding you. It's not a negative friendship in any way. If it was a negative friendship, don't call it a friendship. It is something else. So I had two ideas about this that I wanted to discuss. So the first one is very clear nowadays with social media and Facebook. Like today, people can add you, or you can add people without knowing them. It's very easy to add people and say, oh, I had a new friend. You didn't add a new friend, you don't even know them. It's also very easy to remove people to good connections, because all it takes, if they're not people that you see every day, if there are people that you haven't seen in months, like many people I know a lot of people I haven't seen in months, all it takes to remove the connection is just, put me friend in like a social network, and that's it. It's very easy. Very easy. So, but here's the thing. It is easier. So it's also easier for you to tell who are the ones that are more likely to be true friends for you or good friends for you, and who are the ones who are not. The ones who are not, if we want to measure this like a math, like with a graph, I will measure it based on the time that it took them to delete you. If it took them a long time, maybe they liked you at first. They deleted you anyways. They were not a good friend to have anyways. They deleted you quickly. Thank God. Thank God, because they were a really bad connection for you then. And these people that you know for a long time, that always stay true to themselves, sort of like me. These people that stay true to who they are, stay being good friends. You ask them for advice, they give good advice. You ask them about something, they help you with what they can, They are there. They are really, really nice people. The kind of people that we want to have as friends. These people are never going to delete you from there. These people stay. So it's what they say here. Real friends stay. Those that are not real friends eventually leave, more than likely, sooner than later. And the same thing. Oh, that was the other idea that I had. So I got the idea, I had written it here, but I had forgotten about it, and the idea came back to me again. So let me read you the other idea I have for this. True friends that stay and that are mesmerized or in love with your personality, not with the looks you have, but with the way you are. Those are the best possible partners for you. So true friends stay, the others leave. People that love you for real, the best partners, also stay, and in addition, they also love you, basically. So I'm gonna have to make a pause here and continue later. Oh no, I'm gonna do it here, anyways. So I'm just gonna make a pause and wait with a lot of patience. I'm gonna wait because it's very difficult to do this. Very difficult to do this with other people talking on yourself. By the way, I used to be a teacher, so I'm used to that. But I really like to do speeches and to do talks where I was the only one that was talking, and there was no other voice in the room, basically. So yeah, let's keep it that way, making sure that I can do a great discussion. So okay, so we are number 13. number 13, right? Okay, so I already finished with that. I already covered that. So we go to number 14. Number 14 is page 109. So page 109. Page 109. Okay, so page 109. So this is on lies. Good lies versus lies for a bad reason. Like ego boost. Those are the worst lies. The people that lie because it gives them an ego boost. And what I mean by a good lie is a lie that is for the greater good. A lie that does something good. It's beneficial. Not just for you, but also for other people. And a bad lie is a lie that is not done for a good reason. It's done due to selfishness, or it's done even for a bad reason. So I'm talking here basically about the story of Beloved. How does it begin? Even before they get to the character Beloved, her story begins in this book with the man that tells the lie of the great fight that he had with this ferocious unicorn. And because of this lie that he said to make himself look tough, to make himself look manly and you know, and badass and that kind of thing, because of that lie, he actually creates the biggest trouble that they had ever faced, the unicorns. So this is a really good example of how a bad lie can do incredible damage. It can do incredible damage, far beyond, you know, the person that said it. It can keep doing damage if it is a bad lie. And what I mean by bad lies is what I just told you, selfish lies. Lies that are done for a bad reason. So an example of a lie that is not a bad lie, so it is a good lie, is, let's say that you were at some place and some person dies there, and you see that they died in pain. And then later on, the family of this guy or this woman comes to you and they ask you, because you were the only one there, you know, you can tell that they are suffering, and they ask you if he or she died in pain or if they died peacefully. They ask you how, what happened to them, how were they, how did he or she die? And you want to make them feel better. So you lie and you tell them that the guy or the woman died peacefully and it was quick. And you see how these people already feel better after you told them that. And you also feel better. You did a good thing. That is an example of a good lie. It doesn't affect anyone, it only does good. There's no way that a lie like that could end up doing something like this. You know, a lot of damage, basically. A lot of damage. So, okay, number 15, page 115. So, okay, this is on Beloved, her story, how it ends. So basically Beloved focused on the bad of what happened to her. She ignored the fact that the unicorn saved her, and she focused on the fact that the unicorn has something to do with killing her father, basically. So she focused on the bad only. She didn't focus on the fact that the unicorn saved her life. And you know, the problem, let me read to you what I wrote here. The problem with focusing on the bad, especially when there is a lot of good in the situation as well, is that you make everything worse. And you make everything worse for yourself. It's like that. It's like that, not just in this example, not just in this book, not just in this story, but in real life. In real life, if something happened to you and there was a lot of good and a lot of bad in it, and you focus only on the bad, you're making things worse for yourself. That's the way it is. So don't do that. Try. I know it's difficult. I know it's very difficult. Try to focus on the good whenever you can. So page 119, number 16. We only have 2 more. So, but we still have more here. So number 16. It was a room of books, shelves and racks and rows of books, and every one of them looked old and mysterious, as if it held secrets that were too fascinating to be put in more modern volumes. So these old books look like fascinating secrets, and for some reason the new books didn't look like that. So this is number 16. So let's see what I wrote for that. People that like books. People like me. Maybe people like you as well. People that like books. Especially people that like books with stories are likely to see some books, not just with stories if you think about it, with knowledge as well. Not just books with stories, but books with knowledge as well. Knowledge about some particular field maybe, especially if you like learning about that field. So these kind of people that like this kind of books are more likely to see some of these books as little treasures. And especially for storybooks, what treasures seem better? What treasure seems more mysterious? Old treasures. And that's a big irony, because it's, let me read to you what I have here, and then I'm going to tell you what I think. It's as if they had more to hide if they are 200 years old than if they are 1 year old. It's not that way though. It just gives us that impression, especially if we're people that like this kind of books. The reality is that a book can be a treasure. A book can have a lot to hide and a lot to teach, regardless of whether it is 200 years old or 1 year old. It really depends on the person that wrote it. The person that wrote it is the one that is in reality giving us the great story or the great experience, and that person could have been born 200 years ago or yesterday. It's really about the person that wrote it, not about the book. But when we're people that like books, we see, obviously not the person that wrote it, but we see the book itself as the treasure. In reality, the treasure is coming from the mind of the person that wrote it. But we can have it. We can have it in the form of book. And we can enjoy that treasure and that wisdom and those ideas in the form of a book without having to meet that person in person. And that is great. Because what if this person died already? What if this person was born 200 years ago? What if this person was, for example, Socrates or Plato or a hero, someone or a great writer that wrote a book 200 years ago? You can still get that treasure. You can still get those thoughts, those ideas, even if they are not here. You can get it from their book. And that's something that I still find fascinating. Someone whose mind was a treasure leaves us that treasure in the form of a book, and we will be able to experience that mind and those treasures even 200 years later, even way long after the guy or the woman, because it can be a woman, after they live. And that is an amazing thing. It's probably one of the most amazing things that books are capable of. And movies don't work in the same way. Some video games that stay being incredibly interesting and incredibly fun may end up working that way, but I feel like books have more staying power. 200 years from now, what's gonna have more staying power? Chrono Trigger, the game, which is a great game, great RPG, or an awesome book from today? I think the book is gonna have more staying power, to be honest. We'll see. Maybe as games develop, it will change and they will get to the same level as books. But right now, today, I feel like books are still, if they are really good books, obviously. That's why I want to make a club that only reads really good books. If they are really good books, they are still the top experiences, I believe. Experiences that are based on imagination. We're not talking about vacation trips here. That's based on reality. We're talking about experiences that play with your imagination and with your mind and with what you know, and that may even expand all that. And that's what's so great about that. Okay, so let's go number 17, page 145. So this is the second book. I haven't begun to read it yet, but I will read it for next month. And next month, you know, for the 25th, I might do it a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna publish it the 25th. I will do the discussion for book 2. I hope book 2 is better than the first one. Let's pray. But I think I would love to see in book 2 another plot twist like the one at the end of this book. I would love to see that. If the author came up with another great plot twist like that, and with a story for book 2 that is at least as good as the one here, I'm gonna be pleased. And so will you. Because it's, you know, basically if you're reading what I picked, you're reading this stuff. So it's, we'll see. We'll see because I haven't read it. 145. Oh yes. Family isn't blood. Family is who loves you, who takes care of you. This is universal wisdom by now. They mention in this book, I will say that it is an important, not a theme, but it is an important idea in this book. But it's something that we already know, even before reading this book. And I know it based on self-experience. It doesn't matter if someone is a family member, love, true love, and care for that person cannot be bought or developed or forced or even earned quickly, because it is a bond. It is one of those chains, one of those emotional chains that we make with people that can only develop and grow stronger and bigger with time. So let me read to you what I wrote here. Blood ties do not equal love ties. They don't equal love ties. And love ties are far stronger than blood ties. And that is the truth. So love for someone else is far more stronger than whether they are family or not. And this is why, you know, people that have a really good relationship can develop a stronger bond with that person than with family members. And it is all based on who is there for you and who cares for you and about you. It is all based on time. Who has been there longer for you, on time and on quality. Because if they have been there for a long time and they have not been a good person to you, that's bad quality. It's on time and quality. So they have been there a long time for you. They have always cared about you and been a good friend and a good person towards you, and a good mentor maybe, who knows. It's you're gonna have a stronger bond with that person. You're gonna care more about that person than about a family member that wasn't there for you. And I know that from self-experience. It's not something that you can't create. Even if the family member that wasn't there ends up being a good person that really cares about you, even in that case, even if that person really loves you, you cannot develop, you know, that kind of bond, that kind of feeling for them if they were not there for you. It's just the way it is. And it's also the other way around too. Like you can develop that kind of feeling for someone, and if they change and they go from giving you good quality to really bad quality and not caring about you, it begins to break the good emotional chain, the good emotional bond. It begins to break, it begins to affect it, and it begins eventually breaks. At least for someone like me, there are people that stay with bad chains. If I see myself tied to a bad change for a very long time, I start to little by little break it until it breaks completely. And I know what that feels like, by the way. It was a little difficult for me, but it's just the way it is. You have to do it for your own well-being and for your happiness. So let's go to the final one. I hope that you're liking the discussion so far. So this is the last one, 18, number 18. The last idea that I can share about this book. or from this book, because I got the idea from this book. So page 152. Page 152 shows that Kara is a true friend. Oh, I see. I know what this one is. The last one. This is a spoiler, obviously, but I'm guessing that you already read the book. This is the dragon talking to her. You held my heart in your hands and returned it to me when you could have made me your slave. Why did she do that? That is how you know who is a good person and who is a bad person. That is how you know who is a person that has a good heart and who is a person that deep down doesn't really have such a good heart, even if they look that they're not that bad. That is also how you know who is a true friend, who is not a true friend, and who is someone that is capable of true love, and who is someone who is not capable of that. So let me see what I wrote there for that one. The people that are like Kara in that kind of decision, like they have the heart of another person in their hands and they can decide what to do with the other person, and they decide to do something good for this other person, even if the other person is not that important to them. These kind of people are people that are good at heart. These kind of people make good friends for sure. These kind of people are fantastic friends. And these kind of people, I believe, are very likely to be the best kind of emotional partner as well. Because even if they have you from an emotional chain, they will not use that against you. They won't use, this thing that they hold from you against you, even though they can do it. Those people are the best people there are. And because of that, those make wonderful friends, those make wonderful partners. Those people are angels. They are like angels, basically. So it's that's it. I don't have anything else to discuss about the book. So we'll see. We'll see when I get here, when I get into Song of the Wanderer, what I haven't started to read yet. Song of the Wanderer is much longer, by the way. So this right here is Into the Land of the Unicorns, and this right here is Song of the Wanderer. So it's a longer book. It's like 300 pages maybe. The first one was 160 pages, so it was much shorter. It was a pretty good read, an easy read. What I call an easy read is something that is enjoyable, something that you can read without having a dictionary in the other hand. I don't like reading, or I don't like readings that make me feel like I'm reading something from the SAT, something from the AP English exam, that you have to be reading it, like with deeper glasses. They don't let you use a dictionary, but you have to be reading it with a dictionary to be able to understand everything, unless you have a pretty high level of vocabulary in the English language. And I don't like those books. Those books, they bore me to tears. So this fun fiction book club is going to try to stay away from those books. I will also try to stay away from books that I feel that are not going to be entertaining or interesting. I like books that are wonderful reads, that are great experiences to have, that teach you something, even if they are in the science fiction realm or in the fantasy realm. They teach you something. You feel like you're better off after you had that experience of reading that book. We're gonna see, because this experience is not complete. This is 4 books. I only read the first one. This picture right here is a really good look of the first experience, of the first book. This is really what it looks like. And this is a picture of the part of the book that I enjoyed the most. I think the parts that I enjoyed the most were the journey in the forest, and the part with the dragon at the end with the plot twist. I really like good plot twists. Plot twists that make you feel like you didn't expect it, but they fit well there. They are not forced, and they are not like a rabbit that they're pulling out of a hat, but they are a plot twist that fits. And the one here in Into the Land of the Unicorns, it really fits. So I liked it. I enjoyed the book. I'm pretty sure this is not gonna be my favorite book or anything like that. I will wait until I read the 4 books to tell you if the 4 books as a whole makes it in my list of favorites or not. I'm not sure about that yet. What I can tell you is that I made the right choice to begin the book club, and for my own readings as well, I made the right choice. This is a good series, it seems, and I enjoyed it. So I recommend it. If you haven't read it, you can get this book from Amazon. It's pretty cheap, really cheap, and it's pretty good. You can read it, and after you read it, you can come back to this video and you can discuss it. You can put your comment there. I will read the comment for sure, especially right now because I'm just getting started with this book club and stuff. So there are not many people in it, but as time goes by, I hope that more people that are like me in terms of liking these sort of books and wanting to experience these sort of experiences will join it, so that you can know other people that like the same kind of stuff. So that's it for my discussion. My discussions are going to be like this. I hope you enjoy them. They are unique because they are based on the ideas that I had for discussions, for a really good discussion, during my reading of the book and after I finish reading it. And there's always something that you can discuss and something that you can learn from any book. So yeah, I recommend that you read with that in mind, not just to experience the stories, but also to learn and to discuss something. And this is going to be the first discussion. We're going to see how the second one goes. The second one is going to be like the deadline, pretty much. It's going to be for the 25th of July. So we have plenty of time to read Song of the Wanderer. I really hope that it's better than the first one. If it is better than the first one, I'm definitely keeping this book in my bookshelf for sure. And that's it for the first discussion. I enjoyed the discussion, and I hope that you also did. I hope that you learned something from it. If you're younger than me, I'm not that old. I am in my late 20s right now. So even I still have a lot more to learn. But I like sharing what I already learned so far. And I also like sharing what I'm reading, because these books, I think they're really good. And I think I have a really good gut instinct to pick good stories and to develop good stories as well, but we're not gonna get into that now. This club is not gonna be about what I write. This club is gonna be about what I read, which are these books. So yeah, I had a good time with this, and I hope you also did. And I hope that you stayed here, and I hope that you comment. So you can comment in the group if you join the Facebook group that I made for this. You can comment in the YouTube video that you may be watching right now. And yeah, make sure that you let me know. Let me know what you think. Because it's not just my ideas, that's just what I thought. But I would like to know what you thought as well. And I would like to see some of your ideas may be fantastic. And I would love to know what they are. And we're gonna see how this keeps going, because we're just getting started.